So my mom, when we were very young, she grew quite a number of things at the back of the house, like it was common in those days. And then my grandfather, my father's father, was also a farmer. And contrary to what people used to say that farmers were poor, my grandfather was, I could call, middle class. In those days, he even owned a bicycle that was silver and white. And anytime he rode his bicycle out, it felt like he was probably riding a Lamborghini or something.
King of the town.
You know? So I knew that there had to be something in food. And then most times, the things he harvested for us were always so fresh and nice. Quite different from what you would get around, so to say. And then, of course, with my mom who grew vegetables, tomatoes, peppers, and all of those things at the back of the house, it meant anytime she wanted to cook, all you need to do is go to the back of the house to get something. So that really inspired me. And I decided that I was going to grow food, but I was going to grow food that heals the body. And that meant I would be growing food without the use of chemicals and synthetic inputs. So when I started, it was tough. In fact, people will call me and advise me that this line of agric that you are towing, there's no money there, the produce don't look nice, your yield will be very low and all of that. But I had my own turning point when I attended a cancer conference. And at that cancer conference then, there were about over 1,000 participants. And of the number of them that were there, over 80% were cancer survivors. So it was a wake-up moment that this is the same cancer that kills people in Nigeria, like, you know, it's in fashion. What were they doing? At that time, I also was running my blog, Sisimi blog, which unfortunately, I don't know what happened to it, but we're going to start all over afresh. So I started interviewing some of the participants and realized that I even met someone who had had cancer twice. I met an oncologist who she used to administer chemotherapy and all for patients. And when her own cancer came, she said there was no way that she would use those drugs. So she started on Path Natural. And then even she said her colleagues then more or less ostracized her, that it was bad for their own profession if she, an oncologist, is now having to go natural. But she said she didn't care. That she didn't even care if after getting well, she couldn't go back to medical practice. She knew that if she healed herself, she will even get much more from those who want to be like her.
Yes.
You know? So that was inspiration. There was even a boy, 18-year-old. When he was being forced to take chemotherapy, he ran away from home. He ran away from home and went to join one of his mentors or coaches who had always talked about alternative way of curing cancer. And at that conference, he was 100% healed. So with that, I told myself, no matter how difficult it will be in Nigeria, I mean, if you keep at something, one day,
yes, now
you would get a way around it. So when I came back and I said I wanted to do organic, some would call me tin her. You know, you won't find anything. And indeed, it was tough. The only advice I had that kind of helped was when somebody said, oh, why don't you go to Songhai farms and see what they're doing there? Okay. I went there. I realized that, okay, they are doing what you will call sustainable agriculture. But I wasn't quite sure, and I'm still not sure if they are organic. Because people use that word organic everywhere. Organic is about certification.
Even there's organic cream. They'll say, fresh. Before you know it's in Jonah. So I don't know what is organic about that.
No, I mean, we are one country where we have actually bastardized that word organic. People have been jailed to use that word organic. It's almost like a fraud. If you say something is organic and it's not, it is a fraud, because the person who is eating it thinks, oh, this is 100%, it is organic, that's what they said it is. But when they tell you something is organic, it's got to be certified. And we have bodies in Nigeria that actually certify.
Yes, I'm still coming to that.
Yes.
Yes, you said your consistency. That when you keep doing something, that's why Yoruba said that that is when you are strong-headed.
Yeah.
That's not love. At least everything you are saying now is like a success story. It's not like you are narrating my journey. It's not like you are seeing that process, though you are seeing in the process of somebody. Like
we all keep learning.
Yes, it's like a success story now. If you are listening to us, I said it in the beginning that we want to talk about that your health. Some people headache initial, they are and headache, they are partner. Every time and it might just be maybe because of something you usually. For example, let me use myself as an example now, a living example. Now, I think I've said before now that if I have a headache, I'm hungry. If I tell you that eating for me, so. I'm hungry. Just give me food. If I eat, if I finish the food, the headache will go. So if I not finish the food and the headache still remains, I know that it's stress. So go and sleep. Go and bath and sleep. The next thing. I don't need to use drug. I know myself very well. I know that, okay, it's food number one. So, because if I didn't even eat, if I say go and sleep, the sleep will not come. Yeah. So let me eat first. So if the headache now still remains, go and bath, next thing, then sleep. The headache will go. So I know myself. I've studied myself that, okay, that's how it works.
Yeah.
And even food. There are some food I don't eat because they react on my system. When we are in secondary school, me and beans, we are padio. In fact, there's nothing I can use beans to eat. But I now discover at a point that if I touch, especially they now cook the beans, all this concoction that our parents usually cook, they put the pepper inside, put the oil. If I try it, it will be as if we are making bump in my.
Wow.
It's not what's it called? It's not that we this thing, but I won't enjoy my tummy again. Everything will be drumming.
Yeah.
In fact, I will be sweating as if something is happening. So I don't eat those. If you can't cook the beans separate, do the stew separate. Yeah. If I not try it, and it happens to me with there are some vegetables too I don't eat like that, and meat, anything beef. So what I'm trying to say is, if you understand your system, I know that this thing don't work with me. That's why some people still getting some sickness or some disease. They don't know that it's because of some things you are consuming. It might even be water. Like you said that you don't drink some any other water apart from. Now you already understand. Now some people, maybe it's because of the water. Some people love pure water like, oh my God. And that might be. So that's why I talk about the health. This in the beginning, that we are going to be discussing the health aspect and the financial aspect, that how you can make money, how you can be in this, how you can make money. Then the government aspect, is the economy really helping or not? Is the and what are the opportunities in this business? What are the things? Because there are some business you do. Because this lady we brought here the other day, I think 2 weeks ago, talks about there's a difference between you being a fashion designer and being in the business of fashion. There are some people they know that job, that I can design but they don't know the business because they don't know how to charge for all these things. So you just be doing that thing, no money is coming in. So we will be talking about the agriculture aspect, how you can do this thing, then how you can make your money, because if there's no money, the consistency won't be there. Like you just said, the advice we don't do this thing. I say I do. I know that if the money is not coming in within 2 or 3 years, you yourself, let's stop it. So now let me ask you, if when you started this, how will do you start on a large scale, or you just started like, well, let me just start with laying in my backyard? How do you start?
Okay. First of all, I'm going to take you back to what you said about the beans and the vegetables.
Okay.
Now, there are many people who keep complaining that when they eat vegetables, they run their tummy and all of that. But what is happening is that more and more people are beginning to react to the chemicals that were actually used. One of my customers told me that the husband stopped eating vegetables years ago. So I told her, try ours. If it upsets his tummy, I'll give you back your money. Since then, she's been buying our vegetables. The man is not complaining. So what you're also reacting to in the beans might be the different chemicals that are being used
to grow
them. So it just shows that your body is sensitive, which is a good thing, because then you can stop it. Now, coming back to me and starting, one of the things I did when I was going to start was that I kept reading. I was searching for knowledge everywhere. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anybody at that time in Nigeria. Not that they didn't exist, but I didn't find them.
They are not blue. They are not blue.
Yes, it's one thing for you to be doing something, is another thing for people to be aware of
it. Yes.
For instance, I've never met the two of you, and you know of me. So that is the way things really do go. But when I was starting, one of the things I realized was that you needed to have a good idea of what in particular you want to produce. Is it something that everybody would want? And that is why you find that most farmers do vegetables, because there is hardly any home in Nigeria where they do not eat vegetables.
Yes.
So, and one of my mentors said, you know what, buy as much land as your money can afford. Do not buy this 5 acres and say, oh, when I now know what I'm doing, I will go and buy more. She said, number one, that area may be all sold out. And then you're forced to go and start in another place again.
Yes.
So if your money can buy you 10 acres, buy the 10 acres and start with the 5 acres you can afford. So along the line, it is those tidbits that have really helped me. So when I started, I said, let me start by buying the land I could buy. So I bought the land and then started looking for the knowledge. And I always mention, knowledge doesn't come free. And knowledge should not come free if it is something that you really want to make money out of. If somebody does a training, you'll be amazed the kind of trainings I've gone for in this Nigeria. I've been at trainings where about 2 hours till we got to the place, there was no network. We got there and there was still no network. I couldn't even tell my husband that I was in that part of Nigeria, because you say, Akilode, what is it? You know, is it the only person? So I know that knowledge is key, and knowledge makes a difference. Even up till 2 years ago, I went to the Lagos Business School to go and actually study agribusiness, because I know that, yes, I now know agriculture, but agribusiness, the one that as you're doing this thing, you have the parameters and the guidelines to know how you're going to make money out of it. So it is very important that you know what you're doing, that you seek for knowledge, and possibly you have mentors or coaches who, it's a two-way thing. It's not somebody you call every time just to ask for information. You two, you come up with something.
Yes.
You know? So with that, I was greatly helped. I value knowledge and I pay for it. It's very important.
Yuba said that owo la fi pe nini owo. That is, if you don't spend money will not come.
Yes.
So, if assuming they gave you all this knowledge for free, you might be like, well, I will start in 2025.
Thank you.
That is
procrastination will set in. I will start in. And in fact, you might even look at it that, will it work? How will I put, because you get the knowledge free. Now, I will not put like 5 million into this thing that I get for free. But since you spend almost,
you want
that
money.
So you be like, no, I must try it. Either it work or not. I want to try it. Okay.
That's it.
And then it opens you up to those people. So you go train with someone. You have that person for life. Because you've been for a training, you've met him. So if you have any challenge, then you can call him up to say, oh, this happened, and they can share with you.
Okay, in case you are listening to us or you are just joining us, this is Tea Talk Cutting with me, Mr. Cash, and Devas Mama, and this is Joli FM. We are talking about this agripreneur business and economy and the opportunities that surround it. We are talking to Mrs. what should I say? No, let me say barrister.
Oh no,
she said
leave the barrister.
She's a lawyer and she's still a lawyer. Because in fact, let me even start from there. Someone is a lawyer.
Yes.
In fact, I've not seen seriously. I've not seen a lawyer that turns to a farmer. I've only seen a lawyer. I've only seen a lawyer that turns to an what's it called, actor, Nollywood actor or a musician. I've only seen that, but I've not seen that. So for someone to leave law, I've
not left law. I love law.
Because one thing about lawyers is that they have pride. It's not pride like they will be looking at you as a beginning. No, even if they are introverts, even if they are introverts, they'll be like they'll just be like bad deep. So now for someone to be a lawyer and now look at food, because you said your mom starts this thing, then your grandfather, let's say your grandfather started it, then your mom too. Now you now from that you now go and spend 7 years or 11 years in law school. I be reading law. Then after that 11 years, you still have the mind that my mom is cooking now. You learn no. That's a great what's it called? That's a great, and I will not leave you shape power. You know, I said the other time that if she said that well, I'm no more doing this thing, if you power dear, so now what we are trying to say here, she was talking about learning. A lot of people don't want to learn. That's number one. A lot of people don't want to spend to learn. That's number two. Because a lot of people don't. That's why you see some people, they will call you please what kind of job work any share. Why will you be looking for any share? Are you jack of all trade? If you look for any share, they will give you any owo. So why can't you use that? Use a minimum. In fact, nowadays people don't learn for years again. The people don't learn. So why can't you just take a little, maybe a month or 2 months, 3 months, go and learn something, so that when you are looking for work, you will look for exact work. So I have a lot of people that usually tell me, Mr. Cash, your iṣẹ́ wo ló kọ́ àbí iṣẹ́ wo ló mọ̀ ẹni ẹni iṣẹ́ èmi ò bá yàn wá ẹni iṣẹ́ o. That's it. So now you can we listen to her saying that she learned, she said even just 2 years ago she went to Lagos Business School. Like I was saying before, that there's difference between you doing a kind of business and knowing the business, doing a kind of job and knowing the business aspect of what you are doing. Now she said she has got to know agriculture, but she needs to know how to make money. Because if you are not making money, they won't preach to you before you stop it. When you see that imagine you are doing and you are still thinking about, so you will be like people now be asking, hey, shaking your money, I'm continue later. So now the point I'm bringing out is that the thing she said, she mentioned that she learned, she spent money, that she even went to somewhere that she can't mention that my lobby by you like you better show go and all show go man lost no jiji. Come about my
family will not see. There will be trace.
So now let's not talk about the entrepreneur or the entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur or being an agripreneur in Nigeria. What does it sound like? Is it something that I can even brand my car plate number like, whoa, I'm an agripreneur, that I can be gakpa, I can boast of in this country that we are, because I know there are some countries in the world that in fact they are king, but I don't know if they are in Nigeria. So I will ask you that. Then being an agripreneur, what's it called? The profession requires so much effort or so much money. Which of the two? So much effort or so much money? So the number one question is, what does it be like? Is it something you can boast of, or you can even leave other jobs like, this is what I want to do and that's what I will be doing? Then does it require so much effort or so much capital?
Now, there's so many aspects to agripreneur and so many opportunities. Recently, I think that was last year, a foundation, I think Faith Foundation, assigned someone to me as I was going to be his coach.
Okay.
And do you know that he's producing cold boxes. I think he calls them Eco Tutu. They're just cold boxes that you can install in a place, and from what he tells me, you store your produce there for 5 days and nothing happens. They're as fresh as when you plucked them. So the value chain of cold rooms and cooling systems is a big one. If you harvest the average vegetable this morning, by this evening, it's already looking down. So you can then imagine if money was to go into that, that is an aspect. Logistics will always be there. I'm sure many of you see all these big, you see these cars coming from mile 12. They'll be so loaded, the boots, the inside, the top. It shows that we have that gap in our logistics. And it goes on and on. Even media, what you're doing right now, me being your guest here, there are people who would listen to this program today and take a decision.
Sure.
Yes.
You might never know that this is what spurred them on. So media is there. I'm one of those who, when I pick the papers, I go straight to the Agri page. I want to see what that person has said, you know. So there are many areas that people can tap into. We all don't need to pick up the hoe and farm. Then you also have areas like training. Right now, one of the things I dream of is setting up something like an organic institute where all those hurdles that I had to go through, others don't have to do it.
Sure.
Because that building will just house knowledge. Farmers who also have succeeded will come there and share their experiences. That is one thing. Then there are inputs. For instance, if you want input for conventional farming, they're all over the place. But you want input for something like organic, you've got to try very hard, because even the ones we use, we make ourselves. And what we now do, because I also train women at home, I've trained over 500 women and a few men how to grow food at home. And most times when I start telling them, oh, great garlic, this is soak it, ferment it. Oh, Mrs. Shomo, please, do you have for sale? So what we started doing is that we normally use these 200-liter drums. So once we produce, we keep, say, maybe 100 or 150 for the farm, and we sell the rest. That is another value chain. And already I know somebody, I've forgotten her name now, who does neem extract and all of that and sells. So it's for people to find out which one is the low-hanging fruit for me that I can thrive in, you know. For instance, people are packaging. People are now packaging. You go to a farmer who farms cassava and makes gari, and it's very good quality. What do? You offtake from him, you package, you probably get NAFDAC. I know someone who doesn't do less than 5 tons. When he wants to produce cassava, he does 5 tons. Because that is the kind of orders that he gets from Canada, America, and all of that. Wow. So you can imagine somebody working closely with that same person. You are now the one who is going to go and find markets. The guy is producing, is not complaining. So there is also that value chain of repackaging, you know, drying, spices. There is so much. Even our tea. Currently, we have somebody making inquiries from as far as Japan. They want Nigerian tea.
As in, you grow tea too?
Yes, we grow tea.
I've not yet heard about that.
That is part of the agri-business that we're into.
Okay.
So we grow things like lemongrass and all of that. And guess what? Because we're an organic farm, practically every leaf on our farm can be made into tea. Yes. So we sell things like mango leaf tea, papaya leaf. Yes, because all those things are what our forefathers will say agbo.
Because that I want to say that agbo here, you don't say
now, you cannot just be walking on one street and see one pawpaw tree and go and yank the leaf. You do not know what that tree has seen. So the international world are looking for organic that can meet their needs, because they've left us behind. Right now, they are doing everything possible to ensure that what they eat is right.
They are now in 2025.
And then we are still struggling here. As for the economy, it's unfortunate that we derailed and went into oil. I worked in oil and gas, but it didn't give me fulfillment. Every bit of me wanted to just grow food. You know, the average person, when they're looking for a job, well, oil and gas, oil and gas. It depends on what gives you. Yes, it depends on what gives you fulfillment. I am more fulfilled doing what I'm doing now than ever before. So Nigeria derailed.
Yeah, I have someone. Sorry, yes. I have someone too like that works in a what was this kerosene body? What was their name? I forgot their name. Nupeng.
Okay.
Nupeng. He works in Nupeng. Now he has stopped working in Nupeng. He owns a farm in Ota or somewhere around there. This growing what was this fruit? Watermelon.
Yeah.
He said, well, I don't olive oil and gas, Gary. I love this one. I said, but this one get oil and you go the cost is will leave me.
Also fuel. It's fuel for the body. It's fuel for the body. You know, so one of the things that we did, we derailed in Nigeria was actually assuming that it is oil and gas that would take us to where we're going. Many of us, even if we were not alive then, we see the pictures of the pyramid, you know, the granite pyramid and all of those things. What stops us from going back to it? But luckily enough, some of our heads of states have tried. At least they've pursued some particular value chain or the other. Now we have made in Nigeria rice. But the problem that we also have is a change of mindset. Nigerians need to change that mindset. When we were young, if they cook Abakaliki rice in those days, the whole house will be smelling. And you will just be looking at your mother with one eye, like, why must we eat this smelly food? It's only now that everybody is going back to nature. Now people are knowing that, that is the real thing.
I remember what you said,
though. Polished one has been polished.
If our parents cook or father that time, because of this, I will be like, why is this rice smelling like this one? I will no. But now, and I love a father.
Oh yes, it's natural. It's natural. You eat a father and your system will just clean itself out because it is natural food. So it's nice that, you know, gradually Nigeria is coming back into now wanting to pursue agriculture, but a lot more can still be done. It is tough being a farmer in Nigeria. You provide everything that is yours. The roads to some of our farms are so horrible.
No, they do yourself. Joli FM. We sabi ginger.